Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new, hi, my name's Lou and welcome to Lumazing. Today I'm basically going to share with you how I started my business at the age of 18 and how it failed. So I started my business when I was 18 years old in 2020, around the time the pandemic was going on. It was quite interesting how I started actually. I am a natural hair enthusiast and I wanted a satin bonnet for my hair. And so I went onto my Instagram and searched for local stores in my country that were selling satin hair bonnets, and I found one. Now they were selling their bonnets at 85 kwacha, and I was like, for a bonnet, I felt like it was a little bit too expensive for me, especially because it was during my gap year. I didn't have any pocket money. I didn't have any money on me. So I was like, yeah, I'm not about to spend all that money. So what did I do? I tried to use my YouTube channel to get a discount. I was like, yo, look, give me a discount and I'm going to advertise your business on my channel. And the person was like, no. That's not how it works. I was like, okay, fine. So I went into YouTube and I was like, you know what? Maybe I can't make this satin bonnet, right? But I can look for an alternative. So I was searching things like how to cover your hair when sleeping, what protective styles, what fabric is okay. And it just kept bringing bonnets and bonnets and bonnets until I came across this one video of a girl who made her own satin bonnet and didn't even use a sewing machine. And I was like, oh, what? So I watched the tutorial and then it was good. It was a good tutorial, but then I needed measurements. I needed a pattern paper. I needed how to cut the fabric. So I watched another satin hair bonnet tutorial and another one and another one and another one. Then I got accustomed to how you're supposed to measure, how you're supposed to cut, and how you're supposed to sew. And so I went to my mom's room and I was like, Mom, look, I found this tutorial on how to make a satin hair bonnet and I don't have to buy one. I can just make one. So my mom knows how, background story by the way, my mom knows how to sew and she owns a sewing machine. And I was like, look, you can help me because I don't know how to sew. I don't know how to use this machine. But from what I've watched on YouTube, I do know how to cut and I do know where to sew and where not to sew. Okay, great. So my mom told me to bring her bag where she keeps like different fabric, different fabric basically that she's not using. So I brought her bag and she picked out a partly satin, partly not satin material for me. And so I cut it out according to the YouTube tutorial I watched and I drew with a piece of chalk where we're supposed to sew and where we're not supposed to sew. And my mom was like, look, I'm feeling I don't want to sew, so let me just show you what to do. And so she's like, bring the sewing machine. So I carried the sewing machine to her room and then she showed me what to do and I started sewing and she's like, hey, chill, don't do that, do this. Okay, do this, do that. Okay, don't do that, do this. I was like, okay, cool. Before you knew it, I had made my first satin bonnet. And I was so excited, like super excited, because I didn't spend money and I made a bonnet myself. Well, with the help of my mom, of course. Fast forward, I was wearing my bonnet and my dad came back from the farm and he's like, yo, what are you wearing on your head? And I'm like, it's a satin bonnet for my protective hairstyle. And he's like, really? Do you know you can sell that? And I was like, really? And then my brother came into the room and he's like, yeah, you could sell that. And I was like, you think so? Then he's like, yeah, remember how you wanted to buy a satin bonnet but then it was expensive for you? Well, make one and sell it at a cheaper price. And I was like, really? I feel like people are making these things. Are they going to buy? And he's like, yeah, they are. And I was like, okay, cool. So the next day I asked my dad for some cash and he gave me 50 kwacha and I went to Kamwala. Kamwala is like a complex that sells a lot of stuff. And so I went to Kamwala and bought fabric. I came back home and I made another bonnet. It wasn't good at all. Like, it was really bad. Keep in mind that I'm an amateur, okay? I don't know how to sew. I was just learning to use the sewing machine for the first time. Great. So I kept on trying and trying and trying and trying, and my fifth bonnet was something that I could sell. It was something, it looked like something somebody could buy. But then at that time, I didn't price it at 85 kwacha because it would be a ripoff, okay? It wasn't worth 85 kwacha. It was worth something, but not 85 kwacha. And that's a tip that I learned. Whenever you're doing business and you have produced something or you have goods that you're selling, always price them according to what they are worth. Do not overcharge in the name of making a profit, because you're stealing from people. And when people buy and notice that it's really horrible quality and it's not worth what they paid for, they are not going to recommend you to anybody else. Hence, you will lose market. Anyway, I finally made one that was way better than the other ones that I made. And I put it up, I took a picture of it and put it up on my status, and I was like, I'm selling this at 50 kwacha. And my friend, my neighbor, shout out to Lukundo, she was like, yo, I've been looking for a bonnet and yours is really cheap. I'm going to buy it. And I was like, stop. Really? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. I finished packing. I actually packed it in like some plastic bag, and then I took it to her and she paid me, and I came back home with money. Wow. I just made a bonnet and sold it and made money. Okay, you know what? I will make another one and sell it and make more money. Great. I'm so grateful to Lukundo for trusting me actually with the bonnet that I sold to her. Fast forward, I bought more fabric, more satin fabric, and I made more bonnets, right? So I had like 3 bonnets, and what I noticed was the more bonnets I made, the faster I became and the better the quality of the bonnets. And yeah, I also got acquainted to the sewing and the sewing machine, and it just became easier for me to sew, cut, and produce bonnets. And that's another tip. For a lot of things, including making YouTube videos, it feels like, oh no, I don't know how to edit. Oh no, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do that. But just start. And once you start, keep doing it. Keep practicing, because practice doesn't make perfect, but it definitely makes improvement. Back to the story. So I made quite a number of bonnets, and my family was advertising the bonnets on their WhatsApp statuses, and their friends were interested, like, oh my goodness, my daughter wants one, so bring one for us. I want one, so bring one for us. Okay, great. It felt like we had sold the bonnets to our close circle. What next? I had an Instagram page, okay, and I was like, should I start another Instagram page specifically for my bonnet business, or should I make my current Instagram page, like, should I turn it into the bonnet Instagram page? I was conflicted. Should I make a new one, or should I use what I already have and just change my name? So I was like, you know what? I already have 1,000 followers on this Instagram account. I might as well just change the name and make it my business account. Great. So I changed it from Lumazing _ to Lu _ bonnets, and that was the beginning of everything. I read a quote that said, if you're not running your business on the internet, you are running yourself out of business. And I was like, oh, that hit home, okay? Because we live in a world where a lot of people spend their time on social media, they spend their time on the internet, and therefore, if you want to make sales, if you want to put your business out there, you need to use the internet. You may not like Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, or like social platforms. I get it. But for the sake of your business and for the sake of making money, please just join a social media account. Like, use one social platform. You don't have to use all the platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Like, what are you doing? I feel like it's just going to be very overwhelming for you. Maybe in the beginning you can try all 3 and then see which one is thriving more than the other and stick to that one. In my case, my audience was teens, and teens in my country use Instagram a lot. So I was like, okay, cool. Also, I had a good understanding of the Instagram algorithm. So I was like, I'm going to use Instagram to promote my business because I can't open a Facebook account. I don't like Facebook. I don't know how to use Facebook. Do you get it? And like my audience wasn't largely on Facebook. And in my country, a lot of people scam through Facebook, so it's not legit, okay? So yeah, I wanted to I wanted to be legit. I wanted people to trust my business. I wanted people to trust me. So I used Instagram. Great. So I changed my Instagram account from my personal account to the business account, and I would post pictures, okay? And I'm not saying like shoddy or shabby looking photos. Maybe in the beginning they were shabby. I'm going to put them here. Maybe in the beginning they were shabby because I would use my duvet as the background. But then as time went on and as the business grew, I used satin fabric as my background. I learned how to take photos in the sun, and I also introduced new packaging. Basically, everything was going great and it was fine. Anyway, so my business was growing. People were buying the bonnets. They were selling like hot cakes, okay? I increased the price from selling them at 50 kwacha to selling them at 70 kwacha and 80 kwacha because now they were worth the money. I started selling 10 bonnets at a go, 6 bonnets at a go, 5 bonnets at a go. And that was coming from 1 bonnet a day to 10 bonnets in 2 days, 5 each day. Since I knew the Instagram algorithm, right? Because I watched YouTube videos. That's how you can know the algorithm of the social platform. Just watch YouTube videos, YouTube tutorials on how to boost your page, and yeah. So I watched YouTube videos and they said use hashtags on your Instagram. So I kept using hashtags. Hashtag satin bonnet, hashtag satin bonnet Zambia. And then this was the highlight for me. I got a DM from a lady in Australia asking me if I'm a satin bonnet vendor. What? Me, simple girl in Zambia, satin bonnet vendor. Then I knew that I'm actually doing something. Then I knew that my work is actually something. It's good. Every amount of money I would receive from the bonnets, I was buying fabric. I moved from buying 2 meters of fabric to buying 10 meters, to buying 20 meters, to buying, I think the highest I ever bought was 25 meters of fabric just to make bonnets. It was crazy. I moved from making 50 kwacha to making 80 kwacha to making 300 kwacha to making 1,000 kwacha in 1 week. That was crazy, okay? Maybe it doesn't sound like a lot of money now, but for me, that was a lot, especially because it was my gap year. I didn't have a lot of money. I didn't have money. So 1,000 kwacha? Girl. Fast forward, demand was high. People wanted the bonnets, especially because I introduced something new to the bonnets. I stopped doing basic style bonnets. I started doing bonnets with a ruffled edge on them, and people were buying the ruffled edge like hot cakes. Yo! And that's another point for you. If you have a business, always ask yourself, how can I improve my product? How can I make it something people would like to buy? How can I make it more attractive? I did that, right? There was massive production going on. I was running to Kamwala every single day to buy fabric because it was running out. It was so much. And on top of that, I was making the deliveries. But I'm so grateful. At some point, I partnered with a delivery company, an eco-friendly delivery company called Chova Z. I don't know if they're still functioning now, but then they were so helpful to me. Like, I would call them every single day, like, okay, almost every single day. And I'll be like, yo, I have an order, I have a delivery. As much as all this was good, it became very overwhelming to me. And this is the biggest lesson I learned in business. Once you've mastered the ins and outs of your business, it's time to take a step back. So throughout this narration and throughout this story, you can notice that I was the common denominator, okay? I was the one who was going to buy the fabric. I was the one who was sewing. I was the one who was packaging. I was the one who was delivering sometimes, until the Chova Z eco-friendly delivery company came and like did everything else, right? But before that, it was me running the show. It was me running the business. And so you find that days where I felt down, I felt low, I felt I don't feel like doing business anymore, the business would go down. Like I wouldn't get as many sales. The DMs of orders or people asking about the bonnets wouldn't be replied to, because it was me doing everything. And that's a really, really, really big risk, okay? When your business depends on one person or one group of people, yo, that's risky. What happens when those people aren't there anymore? What happens when they pull out of the business? Then what? How will your business run? Do you have a backup plan? I feel like that was the biggest lesson I learned in business. Your business should be able to survive without you. Your business should be able to run without you. You shouldn't be the center of your business. Your business shouldn't depend on one person, okay? It should be something that can operate on its own, even when the special people aren't there. It should work in such a way that you have a time out, you have a day off or days off. Because if you find yourself not having days off, if you find yourself not being able to take a break from your business, then we have a problem, because the business relies on you, which is very risky. Because what happens when you're sick? Yeah, so that was how my business experience went. If you are currently running a business, I do hope it is on a social media platform, whichever you would like. I hope your business is not entirely dependent on you, because that's a big risk. And honestly, you need to take a break sometimes. So yeah, structure your business in such a way that it can operate and function and still make money, even without you being present, or even without you overseeing it 24/7. Yeah, so I hope you liked this video. Please give it a big thumbs up. Tell me what you learned about running a business from your own experience in the comment section. Or if you haven't had a business and you're planning to start a business, let me know in the comment section what type of business you'd like to start. And yeah, we can have a little chat there. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!